out of the girls that I worked with, a number of them started out younger than 18. I would say around 12 or 13, that's a real normal age. There was a lot of brainwashing going on, a lot of control. You get just enough food, you get, a little bit of things that you want, and you have someone telling you that what you're doing is okay, that you just don't see any way out. Oak Grove and the Flying J out on 350, those were spots that the girls went almost every night. I do believe that there needs to be justice for the sellers and for the buyers. I don't feel in our community that that is an issue that people are willing to deal with yet. I do feel like it's an issue that we do have here, though, as far as I do believe there's children being bought and sold in our community, and I do believe that there's quite a few adults. I would like for people to see me as being someone in the community that is willing to break the barrier, with the population that we work with here, and to show law enforcement and people in the courts that people do make it out of that lifestyle, and that we're not criminals, and that most of us are victims, and just to show them that there is a way out.
And they were basically out in public. I understand they'd been to a movie, and they were approached by this guy who was in his 20s and had a nice SUV and, all of this, and approached them initially about selling beauty products. And that's how he lured them in with, oh, I'll give you guys a job. You can sell beauty products. Well, eventually, it turned into, and you can live with me. And so they, ran off. He got a hold of them and started grooming them for prostitution. And of course, being very young, very inexperienced, they did not realize at all what was happening to them in the beginning. And even I think from the things that they told me, even as it unfolded, they still didn't really have a grasp on what was going on. When they first had them, they didn't really know what to do with them. The police didn't know what to do with them, really. They were kids. Normally, they would go to detention or something like this. Well, the Family Court Services, who runs the detention center for children here, they're very reluctant to put kids in detention anymore for anything, period, and they're very progressive in that respect. They were very uncomfortable and didn't want these young ladies. They perceived them instantly as victims. The Family Court Services, instantly they perceived, hey, these kids are victims. They don't belong in detention. And as an advocate, I try to be supportive to them, work with them on what their needs are, help them process traumas that they might have been through, and hook them up with the services that we offer here at Veronica's Voice for adults and teens who've been used in sex trafficking, to try to maneuver them through the system, try to help them reduce their trauma, and try to help them become whole on all different levels. Not just their legal situation, but their physical self, their mental self, their spiritual self, and we have a very holistic approach to what we're doing.
Because I wasn't safe on the streets by myself, I went under pimp control at the age of 14. from the age of 12 until I turned 18, I was in different cities, different small towns where I was prostituted out of around the United States. What was significant was the truck stop experience for me, because no matter where we would pull in at different truck stops, there were always other truckers, and they would talk on those CBs to let other truckers know that I was available. And so I was kind of just being prostituted by the truckers as well. And by me being so young, I was taken advantage of a lot. The average buyer is any man, from a janitor to CEO. It's just the variety is so big, and the different men that use women and girls in prostitution. And also, most of them are married. They're not looking to leave their wives, but this is a way of them doing something and not feeling like they're doing something, because they're just using the other person as an object. When I was being prostituted as a child, not one buyer ever went to jail. I've reached back to help women and girls that are in similar situations that I've been in, to offer hope and let them know that there is something different and that they can get out. And my goals are just to make a difference in this world. Veronica's voice is trying to make a difference for the women and girls that are trapped in prostitution.
And what do you give them?
But since I've started Veronica's Voice, I've gotten to know a lot of the women and girls, and it can happen to anyone. This is not just abuse that drives it. Poverty is a huge piece of it, as well as, the glamorization that's happening.
And I can remember when we would travel from town to town, this was with my pimp, we would stop at truck stops and rest stops where truckers were. And we would travel I-70 back and forth to St. Louis, and also Manhattan and Junction City, Kansas. There's a military base there, and I was taken there and worked as well quite a bit. I would say, these young girls that are out here that are, being called derogatory names like lot lizard, these are young girls that's somebody's child, and they more than likely have come from some kind of abuse that has made them take off from their home, and they are out here just trying to survive. And if you want to really help these girls, you get in contact with agencies that can deal with these kind of issues and help her that way. Don't take advantage of her situation and use her sexually. It is devastating and traumatic what it does to a person's spirit.
Well, when I used to come out here, the back row was always known as the dangerous row. That's where girls would constantly get raped and assaulted.
Wow.
And I just remember this truck stop that even I went inside and nobody ever asked me what I was doing there or what was going on. It was just like they already knew.
And accepted it.
Yeah.
It was just acceptable behavior.
Right as we're standing here, there could be a girl in one of these trucks that is being trafficked from some other place. And to know that really, it makes me feel uncomfortable, because at any point in time, it could have been me or it could have been another girl that I know.
right? If a child gives consent or goes along with the activity, it's completely irrelevant to whether we can investigate or charge a child human trafficking offense. What we really need, at least in the Kansas City area, is some type of facility where our victims, especially minor victims, can go to where they're protected, where it's safe, where it's secure, and they're not treated like prisoners.